Alright, so I'm almost done with this crazy piece. I just positively love it. It's not like anything I've ever done before. So, but I thought I would just jump in real quick while I'm doing some of this. So I have my pan pastels, and what I'm doing now is I'm just lightly going into some areas with the white and the black to either highlight or low light certain areas, so to make things stand out. So for instance, like this area here was super dark, so I've gone in and added some white pastel. This area is really light, so I'm going to come in here and just kind of add a little bit of shading. And all I'm doing is just adding that contrast because there's so much happening. I want to be able to make some of this really stand out. Part of the beauty of this is how kind of crazy it is, I guess. And I love it. I positively love it. So like up here it's really dark. And so I'm just adding some of that white pastel to just make those leaves stand out. And so I've kind of gone around already and done most of it. But it all looks pretty fantastic to me. So I'm adding just a little bit more. I think I got all the areas. So here's another area down here that's a little, oops. Make some of that just really pop. Contrast is the key to a really great painting. And then once I get my pastels on here, then I need to spray it with a fixative before I put a sealer on top of it. And I used Krylon fixative to do that. I think I've got just about everything here. There's a couple. I probably could go on forever. I kind of have to just say it's done. But the doodles were so much fun. It's not my style at all, but I positively love it. So I'm going to zoom back out here. Oops. Make sure I got everything in there. Okay. I zoomed in a little bit so you could kind of see the doodle. So sorry about the dog. Okay, I cut the dog quieted down, hopefully. So this piece is titled Take a Risk, and aptly so, because this was a huge risk. Never done anything like that before. And of course I've got to have a little bit of word in there. And I'm going to grab just a tiny bit of my black paint that I used for my doodles and just kind of go over it so it's there, but not really there. So let's walk through this. So I did the background, and the background, this all was play. It was all an experiment. It was all about taking a risk. And I just tore up papers, and I wasn't even trying. I just wanted to get it down and not think about it and just go for it. And just have fun and let it happen and see what happened. In the process of taking a risk and all that, you discover so many different things. So I love the texture that the paper provided. It was just enough, and it's just, I'll have better pictures, but every little bit of those pieces of paper are showing through underneath this gorgeous piece of all the flowers, an abstract floral kind of look. It just makes me so happy. So I put the papers down and then just slapped some color on there using a credit card and my fingers and whatever, and then went back over it with the turquoise to kind of neutralize it and kind of tone it down and unify that background just a tiny bit. because I didn't want to have to go back over it again once I got all this on there, because I knew that I was going to put a lot of stuff on there. And I didn't want to take away from that background. I wanted it to really be very abstract and fun and loose. So then I used all my flower stencils. I think I used every single one that I have. So I used all of those. And they're all supplies and everything will be listed on the blog. The link will be down below in the description box. So I did them black, which, you know, I'm like, who does black flowers? But again, this whole story is about taste. And so I did all the black flowers, and then I used the vine stencil and the garden stencil. What did I do with those? I don't even know. It's like a train wreck in here. You know, when you get creating, it's like everything goes crazy. At least it does for me. When I start creating, it's like I'm just in the groove. So vine and garden in the garden stencil, and then I freehanded. And I tried to zoom in so you could see how I kind of went back over the flowers, and I mixed up, I used Deco Arts Fluid Acrylics, Carbon Black, and this is Titan Buff. Mix those up with a tiny bit of water, and I used my Simply Simmons brushes, which are like the best. For me, I usually use crap brushes. These are really nice brushes for me, but they're very, very fine tipped, and they worked perfectly. I thought about using a pen, but I really wanted to have that kind of painterly look, so I didn't do that. So I went with the fine and just did my marks, and then I went back with a little wider brush and then did the leaves, then went back again and did more doodle marks in the white and the black, and I love it. I positively love it. Let's see, what else did I do? I did the shading with the pan pastels, and I think that is pretty much it. And what I haven't done yet is I didn't put any shading around the edge, so I will have to do that before I can call this finished. But of course it's got to have my signature shading, a little bit of pastel here. And this, when I use my soft pastel, this is chalk pastel, it's not an oil pastel. And I have to spray it with a fixative, and I use, where is it? Krylon fixative. And oh, and you know what else I did too was in the midst of the background, I put paper down and pulled it up because I had a lot of paint on there, and I really didn't want to take away any of the color, but I wanted to help it dry, and I wanted to kind of dull it down a little bit. And so that if you lay a paper down and pull it up, it gives it this kind of, I don't know, like matte, kind of pressed, almost a print feel. So I did that. It ended up pulling up some of the papers, but it didn't bother me one bit. I liked the look. I liked that just kind of freedom that I got with this whole thing. I just positively love it. Alright, so I think that covers everything. And I want you guys to know too, if you ever have any questions with regards to what I do or supplies or that, I try, if there's a question, to respond as quick as possible. So always feel free to email me or leave a comment in the description below, and I will get back to you. So this is titled Take a Risk, and just like this piece and just like life, I have always found that I am one of the best at trying to stay safe and in my little cocoon and not take risks. I have that mastered, and so it is always work for me to step out of my comfort zone And I've been really, really working on that in all areas of my life, with art, doing new things and different things, with relationships, trying to build friendships, being involved in different groups. And I'm very quiet in groups, and I get really nervous, and I'm so awkward and weird. And so I've been really, really working on that, stepping out of my and taking a risk, and the magic always happens in that place where you're taking the risk. And sure, there are times when things don't go the way that we had planned, whether it be in relationships or business or whatever, but in my mind and in my view, I've always viewed it as, well, all right, the lesson learned, or what can I learn from this, or how can I take what happened and use it and grow from it, and be better, be a better person, be better in my soul and in my heart and my kindness, compassion. All of those things can really flourish in those places when we're willing to take a risk. And that doesn't have to be huge. It can be one small step. And I say this all the time because I have gals who talk to me all the time about their fear getting in the way of their passion, or their belief in themselves. And sometimes when you take that risk and you take a step out, your courage muscles get built and your confidence gets built. Always, I have stepped out and been involved in a conversation and been just a super awkward, weird weirdo, and I walked away going, oh, what the heck did I just say? Or, stuff like that. But then I'm more aware the next time, and my conversation gets better and better and better. And so I just want to encourage you today to do something different, to step out of your comfort zone, to do whatever it takes to get you unstuck and motivated and feeling like you're making progress, because way too often people feel super stuck in their situations, and taking a risk can be really scary. And if it has to do with let's just say health or abusive relationships, you really have to be careful, and you have to be informed, and you have to talk to someone and really take some steps. So I just want to throw that out there. If it's taking a risk as far as trying something new or talking to someone, I just encourage you to do it, to make the venture, to get a raise or a promotion, or to create a crazy piece of art, or whatever it is, that you would be willing to take the risk and step out of your comfort zone. The journey begins there, and the magic and the crazy reward is. All right, loves, I hope your Sunday is awesome. I hope it is restful. I hope you can take a risk this Sunday or this week, and I hope you'll share that with me if you do. All right, loves, have a wonderful Sunday, and always know that you are